Welcome to Leading Life, the show all about living to the fullest and leading life on your terms.
You will learn tips, tools, and strategies for achieving total personal transformation.
I'm Bren.
And I'm Cam.
This is Leading Life.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Leading Life. What is this, episode 10, Brennan?
11.
11. Wow,
Right?
we're already past the double digits mark, and we've covered a lot of topics now. And today we're on Skype. I'm at my place. Brennan's at his place. I guess, Brennan, tell me how you've been.
You know what, Cam? I've actually been great. I got to spend another weekend out in Erio, so I was performing in Erio all weekend. So I got to go to the beach. I took my dog Daya. We went to the beach. She went swimming and went on like a 10K run. I was skateboarding and stuff. Yeah, I just had a really great weekend, and I come back home just feeling completely recharged and ready to get back into it. So how are you?
Oh, dude, really, really good. Things are really moving with the 2 short films we have and the show that's coming up at Implicit Visuals. So, like, that's basically my life right now is that. And, yeah, things are going really well. I'm enjoying the weather. I've been swimming a lot and stuff like that. So I'm just really excited to cover this topic because it's something that I try to do all the time. And it's basically living life effectively so that everything you do in your life, all the time you invest your life in is effective. You know, it actually matters. It's not something that's going to hold you back. It's something that's going to bring you forward to what you actually want. Because I feel like every single day, and I know we're all guilty of this, even I am, we do things that don't add value to our life. I like what Tony Robbins talks about, these Class A, Class B, or Class 1, Class 2 experiences, whatever he calls them. And he says experiences that feel good, are good for you, and help the greater good. Those are the experiences. That should be your life every single day. You should be doing things that feel good to you, feel good for others, and help the greater good. And I know we're doing a lot of things that feel good, aren't good for us, and are not good for the greater good, you know? So yeah, that's what I want to talk about, is living your life effectively. What do you think about that, Brennan?
You know, I like that a lot because, I mean, at the end of the day, we all have, you know, the same amount of time. But how do some of us use that time more effectively and more efficiently? And, you know, they just end up getting more out of life, you know? And I know you've probably thought this, and, you know, our listeners have probably thought this, you know, how do the most successful people in the world manage their time, and not only their time, but, you know, their energy and everything, just to run an effective and efficient life, right?
Exactly. And by the end of this episode, I'm really hoping that the people watching this are able to take these tools and not waste their time, basically. I mean, I have a whole list of examples that waste people's time. Basically, it's just things that don't add value to anybody. Sure, they feel good in the moment, and there are a lot of those things. Drugs, TV, music, anything, you know, like food. Social media feels good in the moment, but is it good for you, and is it good for others, and is it good for the greater good? And these are the kind of things that I want you to start doing every single day, because those are things that are going to really fulfill you. You know what I mean? Because you can have an amazing cheat day, but at the end of that cheat day, you don't feel good about yourself. You know, sure, you had an awesome day of eating pizza and watching Netflix, but at the end of that day, did you really do anything that is good for you and good for others? Did you really contribute to the world? Did you grow as a person? Did you experience something cool? No, man, trust me, I've dealt with video game addiction as an example, and the hours I've spent playing video games is ridiculous, because at the end of the night, you're just like, I don't think you're not satisfied. You want more, because you feel like you haven't played enough, or you haven't experienced enough, and it's just sitting there and playing game after game after game, and it just, time flies when you're playing video games, and like, it's just, you know, from 9 p.m. it's like already 6 a.m. the sun's coming up, and you're like, holy, I've been playing for this long. And
well, that kind of goes for any activity, but I know what you mean, like with the video game addiction, because I was there too. I went through my phase of just playing constant video games, right? But like, what brings this topic up? So it's how to live life more effectively, okay? And well, first off, my first question would be, what do you mean by effectively?
Okay, so like I said, effectiveness, like what I mean by effectively is I want you to, like, your actions, I want your actions to have good outcomes. You know, I want your life to be focused on outcomes, because that's what life's about. You know, life isn't about, like, just living in the moment. And, well, okay, life is about living in the moment, but it's not about instant gratification. It's about doing things that will get you, that will give you rewards. Doing things that will give you an outcome that you will enjoy, and for others as well. As an example, man, playing video games all day, sitting around all day, wasting your time is not effective. You're not getting anything out of it. You know, you're not getting any value from that. But living your life and focusing on things that actually matter, because I have a whole list of things, and I'll explain it, I guess. A whole list of things that people take time on that they really shouldn't. You know, like, they take time and energy to focus on these things every single day of their life, but they really should not be focusing on, like, caring about what other...
very little reward from the action they're taking.
Exactly, very little reward. Sure, when you're playing video games, you're having a little bit of fun. But is there really a long-term reward to video games? You know, there's not a long-term reward. And I always think about long-term, because...
And obviously, Cam, I want to stop you. It obviously depends on the context in which you're playing video games. I mean, some people do this as a living now, and they're making, 6-7 figures playing video games, and then using that money to do good things, right? So it all depends exactly in what context you're doing it. If you're using whatever this activity is as simply a distraction to distract you from some other deeper issue that you don't want to confront right now, then that's when it becomes a problem. And I think a lot of people, they have these types of actions and habits, but it's become so habitual that you don't even know it's actually there, right? Like, I'll find myself, like, social media is a great example, right? Because when you're flipping through social media, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever it is that you're into, YouTube, there's just constant information constantly coming at you. And it's just like, it depends if it's good information at the same time, right? And if you're just doing this as an escape, again, to escape from a deeper issue, then that's when you have to change. That's when you have to find more effective habits, more effective actions to take, right?
Yeah, like I said, Tony Robbins, like, when I first heard this, it didn't even click in my mind. It only clicked in my mind when I thought of it as an example. And it's the class experiences, the experiences that are good for you, good for others, feel good, and serve the greater good. Those are the things that you need to be doing. And that's what fulfills you at the end of the day. I always think about the end of the day, because you can be having fun now, but when you're in bed at night, how do you feel about yourself? How do you feel about your life? Are you stuck in your thoughts because you know that you haven't been doing what you know you should be doing? And that's why I brought up this topic about effectiveness. So I just have a whole list of things. One of my big pet peeves is materialism. When you focus on just what you look like, what your grass looks like, like what your garden looks like, what your hair looks like, what your clothes look like. If you're just really, really taking all the time in the world and energy to just focus on your materialistic things, like things. I want nothing but things. Because at the end of the day, things won't make you feel good. And that goes with money, right? Materialism, money. Money won't make you feel good at all. It all boils down to something that feels good, is good for others, is good for you, and serves the greater good. So, yeah, like I said, materialism, like, this won't make you feel better. Getting a new pair of shoes won't make you feel better, and we always think that it will, because you see the commercials, you see all these things. We're bombarded with advertisements and all these things that are trying to sell us materialistic, items that might, save us from depression or save us from this. And that also goes with, like, things that you're having problems with. Oh, I got a crack in my phone, so now I'm sad. Like, taking the time and energy to just focus on your things all the time. This is how I look at it, okay? I look at my cat, and you might think this is ridiculous, but my cat doesn't have any possessions. He doesn't even have clothes. He doesn't wear a backpack. He doesn't have pockets. He's just living, man. And my cat is probably the most content, like, being I see on a daily basis. because he's just sitting there having an amazing time by himself. And that's what life is like. Life, you're placed on Earth, and you have nothing but the world to live in, and we always focus on the things that are around us like we need it, like it's a part of us, like it's an extension of who we are, but it's really not. You need to focus on who you are as a person. You need to care about your health. Because, sure, you can have an awesome looking jacket, but is it an XXXXL? You know, that's the real problem. Not the look of your jacket, but how large it is. Try losing weight, try working out, try doing those things to make yourself feel better healthfully.
Yeah, I totally know what you're getting at here, you know. It happens a lot in the Western society where we want to just get the next thing, because that next thing, you know, the new iPhone or the new, you know, this or that new haircut or this new shirt or whatever it is, this new car, right? We always think that that's what's going to bring us happiness, but in reality, it's those things that are actually dragging us behind. And well, it depends if you're letting it drag you behind, right? And it always depends on your mentality and psychology when going into something, because everything is perspective, and everybody's going to have a different perspective. It's automatically, everybody's unique in that way. But to think that, you know, all these material objects are actually holding us down, they're keeping us, they're trapping us. These things that we love are actually, you know, keeping us in like a rut or like a trap that we can't get out of, because, you know, hey, if I want to, you know, move to a new country, I've got to take all my things and got to find a way to get this here, and I got to get this passport and this thing, and then I got to go find a way how to get my car shipped over there, all these different things, right? And it's like, well, you know, I'm not going to do all that stuff because I've got all these things to hold on to. You know what I mean? Or I'm not going to take that risk because what if I lost this thing, like, you know, this you know, house I have or whatever it is, right? And it's true, you know, if you get too caught up in the things of life, the materialism, it's just going to hold you back. And you got to be careful, you know, to live effectively. You're going to want to use the right things in the right ways and use them effectively, right? Like books, obviously, you know, read the book and then, you know, put it down. You don't need to take it with you, or maybe you do. Maybe it's a book that you really need, but I don't know what it is for you, right?
Well, my big thing, man, is that you're never complete. When it comes to materialism, you're never satisfied. That's what it is. And there's nothing in the human brain that just says, I've had enough. Because once you get it, the law of familiarity sinks in, and you're going to want more, and you're going to want more. It's never going to end. And it never ends. Ever.
You know,
it's psychology.
I love what Kyle Piva put here in the comments. He says, life ties you down when you tie down your life. And it makes a lot of sense, Kyle. Thanks.
Oh, that's amazing, actually, for sure. But yeah, like I said, man, it never ends. So I wrote a bunch of things, a lot of bad habits that most people have that we're all caught up in. Like, oh, when I get this new computer, I'm going to be happy. This new car, whatever you said, right, Brennan? And that's just a habit you need to get out of. You need to stop depending your happiness on somebody else, a person, or depending your happiness on an item or a materialistic object that might make you feel better or look better or whatever. You need to look at who you are as a human being. Think of yourself like this, man. You're placed on a desert island and you're butt naked. Are you a valuable human being? Or do you need things? Do you need clothes? Do you need a car to get around? Do you need shoes? Or are your feet strong? Recently, I know you guys might think it's crazy, but I don't wear shoes. I'm toughening up my feet because I'm just thinking about it. Like, if I was in nature, I wouldn't have shoes. And honestly, shoes don't make me feel that good. They make me sweat because it's like wearing gloves. Imagine wearing gloves in the summer. Like, that would just make people warm, you know what I mean? And that's what I mean. So I'm toughening up my feet because I know that, hey, if I was placed on a desert island, I don't think shoes would last me that long. And I know it's a stupid thing, but it's just...
do you think you're going to get placed on a desert island?
No, man, I just want to make myself a valuable human being. I'm trying to learn a lot. I'm trying to toughen up. I'm trying to do what I can. I'm working out every day. I'm meditating all the time. I'm doing things that are not tangible. You know, you can't hold meditation in your hand. You have to do it. You know, so that's just the first point there. Materialism is a really, really bad habit for everybody.
Like shifting your mindset from what you have or what you don't have, and shifting that mindset from that to who you are and who you aren't. You know what I mean? I think that's the most important thing, is because when you pass on, when you die, look, you're not taking your iPhone 7 with you, right? Or you're not taking, you know, the level you got in Pokemon Go with you. You're not taking, your cars or your luxury, any of that with you. You're only taking the person you've become. And we're not even sure you take that with you. I have no idea what happens next. But
yeah,
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, man. So after the whole materialism thing, do some reflecting and look at what you already have. That's a big one, because that's what cures the law of familiarity, is actively being grateful. And you can do practices like Gary Vaynerchuk does. You can pretend that everything in your life falls apart, and then you'll feel grateful that it's there. Have you ever had a dream where your life fell apart and then you woke up and you're just like, oh my God, thank you. Thank God that was a dream. I literally had that kind of dream today. And I woke up and I was like, oh my God, I'm so happy that that didn't actually happen to me. So yeah, be grateful. Look it around, because you don't need anything more. There's people who want what you have, and by the time they get what you have, they're going to be just like you and they're going to want more. So just be grateful for what you already have. And that will make your life more effective, because you're not taking brain power to focus on things that don't matter. One of the like 5 words that you need to focus on, ironically, is focus on outcomes that matter. That's like basically it. The bigger picture is what I call it. Outcomes that actually matter in your life. Outcomes that, because like I said, at the end of the day, how do you feel about yourself? Because it doesn't matter where you are. You're by yourself. You know, you're like Infinite Waters. You're born alone. You're gonna die alone. You're not gonna die with any of your material objects. So that's the one thing, materialism. And the second one is arguments, like stupid arguments, man. Stupid, like me and you, Brandon. We argue over the stupidest things, and I think about it. And I've seen movies, all right, about how, oh, we're not gonna, like, there's this big oil crisis, there's the environmental crisis, there's wars going on, there's a lot of things going on, world might fall apart soon. And I'm just thinking, like, dude, we're arguing about dishes? We're arguing about a plate that's dirty in the sink? Like, I'll clean it, I don't even care, man. Like, small time, that's a small time argument, and we have these every single day.
Like, it seems most arguments are the small time arguments, you know what I mean? I mean, we could argue over bigger issues, but it all comes down to just unconditional love and acceptance and respect. If you could just have that compassion and unconditional love for somebody, you'll get over the arguments. You know what I mean? We're all here together at the end of the day, with the bigger picture. So it's tough to get over those small arguments, but if you could just remember who the other person is and put yourself in their situation, I think that helps every time. I mean, anytime me and you argue, Cam, it's usually because we both want something that is significant. We want to make a good podcast, or we want to, play a good show, or we want to put on, it's always for good reason, I find. So that's why I never get too worried about, the little arguments, because the outcome of the argument, what we're trying to accomplish, is more important than the argument itself.
Exactly. Like, things aren't always going to feel good, but a lot of the times they're going to be good for you, they're going to be good for others, and they're going to serve the greater good. All right, there's a lot of things in life that don't feel good that help everybody, but they just don't feel good in the moment. And like I said, at the end of the day, you look at materialism and think, okay, is this helping me? Does it feel good? Is it good for others, and is it serving the greater good? Okay, arguments. Does it help me? Does it feel good? Does it serve others, and does it serve the greater good? Another one is hating people and negatively focusing on other people. It's 100% a waste of your time. Okay, look, if the only reason anybody would ever negatively focus on somebody else for more than, for an excessive amount of time, is you have something wrong about yourself. You're either self-conscious, or there's something about yourself that you don't like, that you don't accept. So you need to negatively focus on somebody else, notice their problems, notice their issues, and that makes you feel so much better. Like Brennan, like, your hair looks really stupid, and by saying that, it makes me feel better about my hair. By saying that, my value goes up. And if you take that to heart, then, you know what I mean? Like, hating is probably one of my pet peeves, because it literally is so ineffective. It doesn't feel good to hate. It doesn't feel good to hate, and it doesn't help others. It doesn't help you, and it doesn't serve the greater good. It's literally like the lowest of the low that you can be in effectiveness.
Guys, Cam hates people who hate. Okay, Cam's a hater. So watch yourself.
I'm a-
Don't hate.
I'm a hate hater. No, but it's true. Like I said, it's the lowest of the low. Loving is the highest of the high. It feels good to love. It's good for others to love. It serves the greater good to love. So, yeah, Beatles had it right. All you need is love.
For 100%, as cheesy as it is, and you hear people talk love all the time, and this love message is pretty much every religion has some sort of love message. Every great, philosopher or philanthropist or whatever, it's all love. And it's almost cliche love for some reason, but everybody wants love. Like, that's the number one need we have, is to be loved, to be worthy of love, right? And psychologists will tell you this: once you get deep down to everybody's deepest needs and deepest desires, it all comes down to love. And that's how important love is. And that's why every Beatles song or every other Beatles song has to do with love. And that's why everybody falls in love. That's why love is such an important part of life. That's why if you look right here, actually, well, it says love. I've got love everywhere. I've got a little love button on my guitar, just to remind me to love unconditionally, no matter what judgments or assumptions you may have.
Exactly. So that's another one. When you look at hating, or you find yourself hating, is it good for you? Is it good for others? Does it serve the greater good? And does it feel good? So that's that. We already talked about video games. So here are a few things that actually get you out of that. Get you out of the rut of being ineffective in your life, of doing these things, putting your energy towards things that really don't matter. First of all, it's gratitude. Like I said, if you focus on what you already love about your life, it'll make you feel better, and it'll make you want even more. If you focus on goals are huge. That is what life's about, man. Life is a series of projects, is what I say. That's my life. Right now I have this project, next month I got that project, and I'm always just working on something. I'm always building something that feels good. Sometimes it won't feel good, sometimes hard work, but it's good for others, it serves a greater good, and it's good for me. So goals will make you extremely effective, and they have to be goals that you love. Because listen, working 9 to 5, like, what's your goal? You know what I mean? If you're working at Tim Hortons, or you're working at McDonald's, or any fast food chain, like what are you planning on doing? You trying to be manager and then eventually just get promoted? Like, what's your goal? And if you don't really have a goal there, then stop doing what you're doing. Because honestly, money does not matter. You need to sacrifice things. You need to sacrifice that car. Stop paying car insurance. Just stop driving. Because if you hate your job, it's not even worth it, man. Live off rice and beans like I did for the longest time. Like I said, be broke. Sure. Be broke so you can do what you love, and you can actually chase your dreams, because you can't chase your dreams while being rich. You know what I mean? Like, it's so difficult. You're draining your energy.
I think the only other option is, if you're going to go and work that job you hate, or if you're going to go and make money so that you could do something else that you love, be clear on that, and make sure that every day when you're going into that shitty job that you don't want to be at, make sure you know that I'm doing this so that I could be here, and be intentional and know that vision is there. Because oftentimes we'll just show up to this same job every day, and then our vision disappears. We go into it with a goal, or we go into it with some sort of outcome in mind, and we just get caught up in the habit of work. We just get caught up in the habit of 9 to 5 and completely forget that we had hopes and dreams. Right?
Exactly.
And so if you're going to go into that job, make sure you're going into it intentionally and knowing that, okay, I'm doing this so that I can make it to my greater vision or my greater goal that I know is important. Otherwise, if you really can't handle it, get out of there and chase your dream anyway. Either way, you're chasing your dream, and there's no other option.
Exactly, dude. You and I have both gotten caught up in that habit of, you go to work and you plan on doing things, but then you're just so drained, you're so tired, you're just like, I need sleep because I have work tomorrow. And that's what you really don't want to get caught up in.
Imagine if we had families. Imagine how some people are with families, though, Cam. They've got even less time because they work all day, and then they come home from work and they've got family they got to spend time with their family, and then they're exhausted and they got to sleep and do it again the next day, right? But if you're passionate enough, if you have a big enough why, and you're intentional enough, you can still build that business on the side, from whatever, 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. or whatever it is. If you're really intentional and your dream is that strong, right? you'll make it happen either way. But either way, chase your dream and do what you love 100% of the time. No excuses.
Exactly. So for this episode, I just want you to focus on the bigger picture in every action you take. The bigger picture, like the outcome, like what's going to happen after this. Because, like I said, we put too much time towards things that are not effective in our life. And by effective, I mean they don't add great value in our life. They don't really change our life. They don't make our life better. They're just there. You want to make it so that after I do this, if I go to bed tonight, I'm going to feel proud. I'm going to feel fantastic about what I just got done doing. You know what I mean? Like, what I wrote down here as well is personal value. Like, being effective is, like I said, you're stuck on a desert island. Who do you want to be with? I've said this in a past episode about learning. Who do you want to be with? Would you rather be with somebody who plays, video games 20 hours a day, or somebody who reads books 20 hours a day? Obviously, someone is more valuable than the other, and we all have the ability to be extremely valuable. We all have the ability to be a superhuman, literally. Somebody who just reads and reads and reads, and somebody who's the smartest person you know, somebody who's the strongest person you know, somebody who has no fear, stuff like that. You want to become more valuable. What do you think about that, Brennan?
100%, and I think the best way to increase your value is to just, you need to say, increase your value yourself. No one's going to come to you and say, or I can't say nobody's going to, but the odds of somebody coming to you and saying, hey, you're worth $100 an hour, $1,000 an hour, whatever, $1 million a year, whatever it is that you want, somebody's not going to do that, right? You have to say to yourself, okay, I'm worth more than what I'm doing right now. I'm worth more than who I'm becoming. I'm worth more than the actions I've taken. And
you know what, Brennan? Another thing, man, is that's very true. Because the people who are valuable are not working 9 to 5. It's 100% a fact. If you're reading and reading and reading and reading and like learning and learning, it doesn't have to be reading. You could be watching YouTube videos. You could be listening to podcasts, listening to audiobooks. If you're learning, if you're making yourself valuable, you will just by definition not be working 9 to 5. Because you'll have the tools in your brain to not be working 9 to 5. There's a reason why the richest people in the world are reading books and learning. There's a reason why Bill Gates and Steve Jobs both said if they had a superpower, it would be they want to be the fastest readers on the planet. There's a reason why. I've heard from so many people. The one guy, Stephen Palernos, he's like, every time I go to his Tony Robbins seminar, sure, it's like a 10 grand ticket or whatever, but I just make 100 grand every time I come back. Personal value. When you're more valuable as a person, you're going to make more money. You're going to affect more lives. You're going to live more. You're going to have more experience in your life. People who are not valuable, like I said, they're serving you coffee. They're serving you a burger. Those are the people who are not valuable. And honestly, I'm not bashing on you if you're doing that. I'm saying there's a way out. And it's so simple, but it's so like nobody knows it, It's like after high school, it's common sense to stop learning. It's like you go to college or you stop learning. Those are the two routes. And I think, like I said, there's a way out.
I agree 100%. Increase your value, raise your standards.
Exactly. Okay, so I think that's that, man. Honestly, that's that. I think for this
that
episode.
is that. We got a lot of engagement in the comments today. So thank you, Shelby, Amy, Jason. Who else we got in here? Kyle. Thank you, all you guys, for leaving comments and being a part of the conversation here on the Leading Life podcast. We're going to do this every week, Mondays, live at 5, as long as we don't have technical difficulties like we did today. But hey, everybody makes mistakes, and you always got to bounce back. So, yes, thanks again for joining us on the podcast this week. I'm really satisfied with this episode. I think we did a great job, but not, I think the people in the comments did a great job. They were keeping it going.
Yeah, all right. So thank you very much for joining. Seriously, we really appreciate everything. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check out the Implicit Entertainment on Facebook. We do a lot of motivational morning stuff. Morning motivation is what we call it. And yes, please rate the podcast on iTunes. That really helps us out a lot, and appreciate it. And keep in contact with us as well.
100%. Yeah, send us a message or comment on something, whatever it is. We're just happy to have you. Share this with a friend if it's helped you or somebody you think might have enjoyed to be a part of the conversation. And we'll see you next week, Monday, live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time.